People often ask us what it's like to be a cop.
We're protecting serve.
We need more units.
We're protecting serve.
And the paramedics are on their way.
That's what we do.
Okay, we need more units.
We're protecting serve.
More units. Okay, we need more units.
We're protecting serve.
Police and the paramedics are on their way.
That's what we do. We're protecting serve.
Okay, we need more units.
We're protecting serve.
Okay, we need more units.
That's what we do. We're protecting serve.
Yeah, it's dangerous. It can be very dangerous, but it's also, it takes its toll on you emotionally.
On TV, you see it a lot of times a happy ending. The criminals are caught and they're put away, and that doesn't always happen out here.
We have all chosen police work because we care about this great city, we care about those that live here, and we care about each other.
We're definitely representative of San Francisco.
Ever since I've become a police officer, I found that I spend very little time with my family now. It seems like it's a 10-hour day, it's turned into a 15-hour day.
So sometimes you may go a stretch of 3 or 4 days where you don't see your family. My family, me being a police officer, I think they're real comfortable with it. Myself and Gary actually both made career changes. We didn't get into the police. We had other jobs that we did for 18 or 19 years.
I feel bad. I think he might get a little lonely waking up to an empty house when we're at work and school. First thing he does is call, when he gets up, just to check in and see what's going on. And the worst case is maybe 4 days of the girls and I not seeing him. He loves San Francisco. He loves being out there. And, he loves doing whatever he can to make peace with people. And I'm not there with him out there, but knowing him the way I do, I can only imagine how good he is.
My wife is concerned about me becoming a police officer. I got a pension, worked 20 years at another industry, and I decided I always wanted to become a cop, and I decided to go for it. I went with it.
Family's always been very important to me. I've always enjoyed my family. I guess part of my biggest therapy is cooking for them and stuff. I like having family around, I always have. Started off with my first child there is Mia. She came to me by my best friend at one time, and he was shot and killed on the streets one night. And I became close to me ever since, and ever since then I've been her father.
Working in the Tenderloin, as you can imagine, is pretty stressful. I mean, you're dealing with some serious problems and some serious society problems. And so you really need an outlet, because if you don't have one, you're just going to let it bottle up inside you.
This is where we come, we do our practice. We're, we practice as a team. She's in between seasons right now. So we come out here, we spend an hour and a half or so. It's good to shoot. We shoot a lot on our own. She does her free throws, and we work on different things, a little defense. We try to go an hour and a half, but she wears me out in about 20 minutes. Working swings, my two girls are 13 and 14, so I might not see them sometimes for maybe 3-4 days in a row because they're in school, and when I go to work, they're just getting off. They come home, and then so we keep contact a lot by phone. That's how we keep contact.
We're definitely representative of San Francisco being out here as police officers, and we definitely have an opportunity to show San Francisco in a very positive way, and just the way we interact with the tourists or the citizens in the area.
As a whole, we have a very good rapport with the community. It's all about respect. We respect their rights, they respect our rights. We approach them, and we'll talk to them. We can go up to anyone and say, hi, how you doing? And Officer, my partner, Smiley, he's always smiling, but he's really like a cuddly bear. I'm serious. He's really, really, really soft-spoken. So once you get to know him, his size is not even a factor.
Coming over here is like working on my roses. It gives me opportunity to regenerate my batteries. Well, the reason why I like roses, it's very relaxing and they're very beautiful, very colorful. They really make the neighborhood look very nice. And I don't know anybody that doesn't love roses. So it also has been given me an opportunity while I'm out here to meet a lot of my neighbors, and I've gotten to know people that live blocks away that come and walk around the area, and we share information about roses, and before you know it, you just strike up conversations, because that's always been my mindset, is it's good to get to know people in your community for a lot of reasons.
Actually, I'm very proud of what he does. I think that Gary is a very conscientious person, and he's very concerned about the community and the future of all of our children. I think he definitely makes a difference out at his job. There are a lot of fears, though, that come with that type of work. So, you know, we're always prepared for just in cases. But because we're a really close family, we're really knit tightly together, I know that whatever crisis situation or whatever things that we have to go through for Gary and his job, you know, we'll always hold together tight.
To assume the oath of a policeman, wherein you commit to do whatever is necessary to serve the citizenry, to keep the peace, to provide the protection, and simply to serve, is an awesome oath responsibility.
Every day I meet people who compliment members of our department for the outstanding things that you do, putting your lives on the line. Your performance on a daily basis exceeds all expectations. Whether sworn or non-sworn, we in the department must never forget that we are a family that shares when there is joy, supports during crises, and comforts during times of sorrow. We must never stop caring for one another. Like the names of our members engraved in stone on our wall of honor, the memories of our loved ones should remain in our hearts and minds forever. They gave us their all. We must never forget them or their families.
There's a community down here, absolutely. There are absolutely, believe it or not, if you get, you know, these people need to have a street sidewalk where they can walk down and go to the store and get their milk and bread, you know, and there's a lot of young kids down here, and you know, we need to try to keep the streets clean so they have a place to
That's the sad part of it. The kids will actually be prisoners in their own buildings. We go to calls, and the kids are playing in the hallways of the buildings because they're afraid to go out on the street. Bodecker Park is taken over by the drug dealers. You know, we arrest them and they're back out there taking over the park the next day.
Yeah, there is stress in this job, and I think what the average citizen might think the stress comes from most would be the exciting cop-type, TV cop-type stuff you see where, you know, there's hot chases and shootouts all the time. We certainly have those, and those can leave their mark over the years. But sometimes it's the day-to-day stress of just being exposed to some of the worst elements of society, constantly being around people that are in have experienced trauma, like the victims. You know, it's not pleasant to deal with someone who's just been beaten and robbed, you know, raped. Your heart goes out to them, but you still have to deal with the situation at hand. So I think sometimes the stress creeps up on us and we don't even realize we're under stress.
Another function that the bike officers have is to assist as arrest team in narcotic surveillance. We have currently 2 undercover officers up in positions to overlook certain areas within our district which are known for high narcotics activity. And that's based upon our own personal experience and a large number of complaints from the citizens. What will happen is the undercover officers will observe a drug dealer make a drug sale to a user, and then the user will then generally put the drugs in their pocket as an example, and then walk off in a particular direction. What the undercover officer will then do is give us a detailed description of the person that had just bought and where they had placed the suspected narcotics.
Or actually 220 Leavenworth, right next to the mural building.
Put your hands behind your back. Hands behind your back. Your group over. Mark it positive. Yeah, well, Drew can hold on to him, and then I'll go get her. What's she wearing?
The reason why we use bikes is, first of all, they're stealth. We can sneak up very easily. We can make our way through traffic without any problems, and people generally don't see us coming. Second of all, if the suspect tries to run, they don't get very far before we can catch up to them. And what the great thing about bikes is, if there is a chase, the suspects who's running, that's where they're using up all their energy. This can be very effortless, especially, you know, if you're on a downhill grade or if you're on level ground. So by the time we get to them, we have plenty of energy, but they're tired out, and they don't generally resist. They usually give up. And don't worry about the one you can see, because generally what'll happen is we've developed techniques to where one officer will come up from one direction, and then other officers will come in from other angles, generally behind the suspect. The officer moving into the front of the suspect will draw the suspect's attention, and by that time the others have already snuck up behind him, and it's that point that we place him under arrest.
I have a 10-year-old and a 10-month-old. My 10-year-old thinks it's great. I remember the day that I went to school in my uniform, and when he saw me, he got really excited, and he says to his friends, "I told you guys my mom was a cop." He grabbed my hand and paraded me around the schoolyard like I was a celebrity. He thinks it's great. He thinks it's great.
As a whole, the police department as a whole is like one big family. If you ever need help, there's someone always there to help you. I mean, regardless of where you're at, if we're on the bus and we call for help, someone from some district will be there. If you're out at the football game and you call for help, somebody from districts way across town will be there.
This police department is very big. The people here are very dedicated people, so, you know, it's kind of like when we do call for help, help is there immediately, so that relieves a lot of the stress a little bit, knowing that help is around the corner.
Another thing with the human aspect of being a police officer in the Tenderloin is that there's a real high crime area concentrated in a small radius, and you tend to it tends to get you down sometimes.
We do good work out here, so it's a good feeling. It makes me feel good about what I do. There's a lot of different things you can do. There's a lot of variety. Being on different, you can be on different teams or different stations. It's different assignments, so that's good. So it allows you to grow. It does allow me to do which is my first love, which I really love to do, and that's being a dad and a husband.
You know, you're dealing with these human beings that are I don't know how to put it, but maybe sometimes a little pathetic sometimes. You know, I mean, it breaks your heart a lot of times. You know, you're out there and you're trying to help them, and it's very frustrating because you realize it's almost impossible to help them, you know, unless you can be with them all the time or something. Of course you can. So there's that whole side of the job. You do bring it home with you. Sure you do. I mean, I don't know if you're not always conscious of it, but it has to be having that kind of impact on you, and it has to be having an effect on your home life and everything else that you do in life.
I worry that, because of other things I know that happen to police officers, I'm going to go out there, and I know that I could go out there, and I think on the way to work sometimes, I may get shot tonight. Who knows? I may not go back home. Me and Gary talk about it all the time, and it's a good thing, because what we try to tell each other is that what the most important thing is when we go to work, that we go home at night. We do our job, we love our job, but it is dangerous out there, and anything. You can go around the corner and something could happen. There could be a guy there with a gun, who knows what, and we could get involved in that, and that could be the end of that. It doesn't worry me, but we think about it.
You might become a cop and decide later on in life, well, you know what, I want to make mattresses or something else, and that's fine. You got to do what you got to do, whatever your heart takes you in life, and whatever your calling is in life. Everything seems to indicate to me my calling was to be a police officer at this point in time in my life. All the things that I've done in my life to prep for it, all my life experiences.
That's what you want. I'm for.
Well, today is my anniversary, and believe it or not, Gary's anniversary is the same day. So we decided that we'll leave the wives home, go to work, and take each other out for dinner.
That's right.
Well,
happy anniversary, honey.
Yeah.
And that's my darling.
People often ask us what it's like to be a cop and why we think no one else can understand what we do. I tell them that unless you've ever experienced wrestling around on the ground with a dope addict at 4:30 in the morning with your heart racing at about 200 beats a minute, unless you've ever driven home at 8 in the morning while everyone else is going to work, unless you've gotten up at 4 in the afternoon not knowing whether you feel like eggs, a hamburger, or a beer, it's hard to know what it's like to be a cop. We not only pick a profession, but we pick a second family as well. Like all other families, we are at times dysfunctional. Like any other family, there are some in the family we like more than others. But also, like any other family, we can count on each other. We look out for one another, and we grieve when one of our family is taken from us.
My name is Joseph McElligott. I'm a police officer for the Vacaville Police Department. I'm representing my uncle Peter McElligott, who was shot and killed in Goldgate Park in 1968. I was 6 years old when my uncle was shot and killed, and I remember my father getting the phone call. We were on vacation in Disneyland in the hotel, and I remember my father getting the phone call, and it was an experience I'll never forget.
On a daily basis, each time that uniform goes on, each time the duty is assumed, each beat you walk, each step you take, each patrol car you participate in, each response you pay to an inquiry by citizen or plea, all represents extraordinary service, service that any moment could cost you your life.
My name is Diana Zelms. I'm here to represent Officer Eric Zelms. It's been almost 30 years for us since my husband was killed. And, like I said before, sometimes you feel like you're forgotten, and it feels good to feel that you're remembered and that his life wasn't taken in vain, and they still remember him. And they're honoring him today, and I'm very proud to be a part of this.
I'm Denise Blessing. I'm here to represent my husband, John Blessing, who was killed in the line of duty in 1989. With me is my son, Matthew Blessing, and Jolene Blessing, twins, 17 years old. And we're here to be part of the memorial today.
Heroism is never planned. Fate provides the circumstances within which it may occur.
policeman stood and faced his God, which must always come to pass. He hoped his shoes were shining just as brightly as his brass. Step forward now, policeman. How shall I deal with you? Have you always turned the other cheek? To my church have you been true? The policeman squared his shoulders and said, no, Lord, I guess I ain't. Because those of us who carry badges can't always be a saint. I have had to work most Sundays, and at times my talk was rough, and sometimes I've been violent because the streets are awfully tough. But I never took a penny. It wasn't mine to keep. Though I worked a lot of overtime when the bills just got too steep. I never passed a cry for help, though at times I shook with fear, and sometimes, God forgive me, I've wept unmanly tears. I know I don't deserve a place among the people here. They never wanted me around except to calm their fear. If you've a place for me here, Lord, it needn't be so grand. I never expected or had too much, but if you don't, I'll understand. There was a silence all around the throne where saints had often trod as the policeman waited quietly for the judgment of his God. Step forward now, policeman. You've borne your burdens well. Come walk a beat on heaven's streets. You've done your time in hell.
Coming over here is like working on my roses. It gives me opportunity to regenerate my batteries. And again, to see the beautiful people.
Every time I saw you, you offered me a smile, your eyes glowing with sincerity. Your heart was as big as the city you love, as the city loves you for eternity. You gave us so much, as so little in return. What you set out for is what you achieve. And now that you're gone, your legend lives on. For our lifetime you will be bereaved. I knew you so little and I loved you so much, and I'm sure many felt the same way. And now in our loss, your strength will be shared. And those who are touched by you will always say, you are the rose of our city.
This is beautiful. It's almost as beautiful as my wife.
Of our dreams. And you are the sweet smell of giving. You're the courage whenever it seems that life is not fair for the living, and it's tough trying to get through the day. You are the rose of our city, and our city will remember you that way. I remember the first time I met you. I turned to my friend and I said with pride, I said, I can't wait to work with this cool guy. Next thing I knew, I was riding by your side. You taught me how to really love this job, and you allowed me to make my mistakes. You encouraged me to follow my heart, and for this, for you, my heart aches. 'Cause you are the rose of our city, of giving. You're the courage whenever it seems that life